Hi, I'm Dr. Carol Matthews. Welcome back to the Auld Manor House channel, and welcome today to my little office right here in the northeast of England. In the last video, you may recall, I told you a bit about how I discovered history at the age of 7, or how the history discovered me, really. So in this video, what I want to do is share with you the story of how I got from the age of 7 and discovering history right up to now when I'm creating the Auld Manor House project. And then I want to talk about how the Auld Manor House can actually help you explore British history as well. So firstly, there were a couple of turning points that occurred in my life that brought me to this point. The first one was the rather sudden death of my uncle when I was 38, and I visited him in hospital, and because it had been rather sudden, he had a very short illness. I remember sitting by his bed and thinking, my goodness, it's only 5 weeks since he was diagnosed. What if that were me? What if I got ill and 5 weeks from now my life was ending? And the big question was, what would I be wishing I'd done? And I really didn't have to think about it, actually. The answer was straight there in my head. I wish you'd gone to university and studied history. That's what I'd always wanted to do, and I'd always put it aside because, you know, life happens and you have to get on and make a living. So I took a big decision right there and then. I'd just been offered a job, and I turned it down, and I applied to go to university. And I got in, fortunately. I was accepted, and I started university. I studied history, and I went on and did my bachelor degree. I did an honours degree. I did my PhD. I loved researching. I absolutely loved studying history and learning about it. And while I was a PhD candidate, the second of those turning points happened, in that I started tutoring. I started teaching British history, and I absolutely loved it. I was terrified to start with. I never forget my first class. It was absolutely petrifying. But I loved it. I fell in love with teaching, and I love it when I see the light go on in a student's eyes, and I know that they've caught the bug and they love history and they've understood how important it is, etc. So that was another turning point. Now, how did I get from doing that at a university to starting the Auld Manor House from here in my office in the northeast of England? Well, what happened was I moved to the UK and took a job in learning and teaching at a university in the south of England, which shall remain nameless for the sake of this video, in a learning development role. And I loved that. That falling in love with teaching, it actually kind of switched me halfway over to not just researching and reading about history, doing history, but also about teaching it and sharing my knowledge and love of British history. So I worked in a learning development role when I first moved to the UK. And then when I moved up here, people started asking me and saying, "Oh, you're an historian. How can I find out about period dramas and historical movies and historical novels? How do I know how much is fact and how much is fiction? How much is history and how much is just a story?" And I got lots and lots of questions like this. And so the idea of the Auld Manor House was born. It's kind of half period drama, half history, half novel, half fiction. But what it's doing is exploring British history, about 350 years of British history, the most fascinating 350 years of British history, through the eyes of one manor house, one country house, located somewhere in the countryside in England. And it's that period of history through the eyes of the manor house and the experiences and the stories of the fictional family who own it, the people who live in it and work in it, the things that happen to those people and how history impacts them through such events and changes such as the Protestant Reformation, the Civil War, the Jacobite Revolution, all the things that are so exciting that people absolutely love, right up to the Industrial Revolution. It's an enormous sweep of absolutely fascinating history people love. It's the period I love. It takes in the Tudors, so Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth I, Queen Mary, Lady Jane Grey, through to the Stuarts, to King Charles I, who lost his head, and then the whole war, the whole Civil War, and how dramatic that was and tore families apart. And then on to the Georgians, the restoration of Charles II, and the Cavaliers and the Roundheads and all that exciting romantic period. And then on to, as I said, the Georgian period, the Hanoverians, with their beautiful clothing and fashions and politics changing, and the Regency, so right up to Jane Austen's world and the beginning of the Industrial Revolution and enormous changes. That period really takes us from the end of the medieval period right through to the beginning of the very modern period. It's what historians call the early modern period, but it's the most fascinating, effervescent, scintillating period in history. And so the Auld Manor House follows that huge sweep of history through the lives and experiences of one family in one manor house and the people who worked for them and lived and worked in the manor house. It's a fascinating project, and I'm really, really excited about it. So how can you get involved in it? Well, first of all, you should know that I am currently setting this up, and what a week it's been with getting the website together, and I'm doing lots of promotional videos and posts and things for it, and I'm creating content for the first pack, the welcome pack. I'm going to be the curator of this fictional house to guide you through history and guide you through the house and the lives of the people in it and the collections it holds, etc. So we get to learn about British history in the most fun way that is possible. It's history. It's definitely history, but it's a fictional house and a fictional family, and we get to see what they go through over this generations that live through this period. I'm so excited about this, as you can probably tell. And if you'd like to know more, because I'm still working on setting it up and setting up the website and everything at the moment, I will let you know when it is possible to sign up for it or to sign up for a waiting list. But in the meantime, if you would like to know more, please leave a comment. Yes, please, tell me more below. Or you can join my free Facebook group, which is called Great British History. And there will be lots more about the Auld Manor House and lots more in the group. So, next week I'm going to be filling you in a lot more on all the things that have been going on about how it's been to set it up, what it's like to set up the website for it, and the membership area, and what it's like trying to come up with a promotional program. I mean, I'm an historian, so my going through this is a tremendous learning curve, but it's so much fun, and I want you to come on my journey and then to experience the Auld Manor House with me. So, videos every Thursday. I will post one, an update on how it's going, and letting you know how you can be involved, etc. Follow me, follow my story, follow the Auld Manor House, and I will see you next Thursday with another video update. Bye for now.